Welcome back to the channel, and today we are discussing a big one, especially for a certain company that would have definitely had to use that momentum. It was, what if TNA was able to sign both Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar back in 2006? Let's discuss it. So basically, here's the backstory before we even get started. Let's get to the backstory. The backstory of this one was Brock Lesnar was already 2 years removed away from the WWE. Not only was he that, but he also had a lawsuit going on against the WWE, as WWE was preventing Brock Lesnar from wrestling, and not only in the States, but I think in general, in anything possible. And they had this weird, I think it was like a 7 year no complete cause or something, to where it prevented Brock Lesnar from wrestling anywhere, like literally anywhere. So which ended up happening was, well, at least anywhere in the United States. Him and Kurt Angle did have a New Japan Pro Wrestling match, but that was in Japan on an entire different seeds other than the U.S. So during this lawsuit that Brock Lesnar sued, he actually won his lawsuit against WWE, so that allowed him to compete. And I think that's probably why we got a 90-day no complete cause, I would say, but I'm not 1,000% sure on that one. That was doing for Triple. That was for Brock Lesnar. For Kurt Angle, on the other hand, Kurt Angle was in the WWE. And he left in late 2006. The reason why he left in 2006 is he was working hurt. He was addicted to painkillers. He's even said it himself. And he really, I think his energy for the WWE had pretty much ran out, I would say. He wanted something new and fresh. Enter Total Nonstop Action, aka TNA Impact. And TNA Impact, Kurt Angle was trying to get them to bring in Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman wanted them to bring in both Lesnar and Angle together. He wanted to bring in both of them and let them bring them to TNA. Well, TNA was saying yes to Kurt Angle, but they could not pay Brock Lesnar that much money, so Brock Lesnar never went to TNA. But in this scenario here, what if they both went? So if we looking back at it, and around, it was like, I want to say August or October of 2006, we had Kurt Angle appearing in TNA. He's confronting Samoa Joe, who refused to give up the NWA World Heavyweight Championship to Jeff Jarrett, who he stole it from, and that began the Angle versus Joe feud. And this sets up as Kurt Angle as the major babyface. For Brock Lesnar in here, Brock Lesnar is a top of the food chain wrestler, right? I think while Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe begin their feud, they brought in Brock Lesnar, and he immediately shot towards the World Heavyweight Championship scene. I don't think he spends too much time dealing with the minor league wrestlers like that in TNA. I think we get some matches, I think we get some big time matches here and there for him, just to get him back into it. All in all, though, he's not spending too much time dealing with the little leagues of the TNA roster. So this would lead to, in my personal opinion, this would lead to This would lead to Brock Lesnar being the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And with him being the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, I also feel like it'll be a very, very long time before he actually loses the championship. I think you're looking at TNA's big time pay per view, Bound for Glory. I think it will have Lesnar versus Angle, Bound for Glory, for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, or eventually it'll become the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at some point. I think at some point in '07, but I'm trying to look at the information now. Yeah, around that time period. I think it's right before Bound for Glory or something like that. But basically, I think you have these two, and of course Lesnar's staying in the main event scene. Kurt Angle, he's going to be working that upper card scene, and eventually you have these two go at it at Bound for Glory for the championship, for the World Heavyweight Championship, that is TNA. Eventually, whenever they leave from the NWA, after that, you can still do the Angle Alliance. I think the hard part is keeping Lesnar, like having Lesnar, whenever he's not the TNA World Champion, is have him do other things. And I think that's where the difficulty of having Brock Lesnar like that. But you'll hope that I'd assume Brock Lesnar will sign a 1 year contract, right? I think he'll just do a 1 year contract. In that 1 year contract, he's a one-time world champion. He's main eventing your big time pay-per-view, Bound for Glory. Maybe him and Sting does a match together. Of course, I think you capitalize on him and Angle. That's easy work right there. and you might have him versus earlier AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. I think those 4 guys. So I think you have Lesnar versus Angle, Sting, Joe, and Styles. I think those 4 names right there is easy what you do. I mean, you easily book those. Those are easy work, right? I think you'll hope that Lesnar's name and appeal will come to TNA, and he brings a massive fan base with him before he actually leaves after a year. And then after a year of him leaving, maybe you get any bigger names or so that goes to like, oh man, well they had Brock Lesnar, and if they treat him like royalty, which I would assume they would, and I think Brock Lesnar would love that. I think you will have him endorse TNA publicly when he joins the UFC and do other things like that. I think you'll have him screaming, yeah, TNA was great. TNA was this, that, and the other. And you will have other wrestlers wanting to join the TNA brand. And I think the Kurt Angle stuff will continue moving forward, right? But if Brock Lesnar decided to stay a little bit longer, the main event Mafia, Brock Lesnar part of the main event Mafia would have been epic to see. I mean, you heard the main event Mafia, Sting, Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash, Booker T, Scott Steiner. Those 5 guys together was awesome. I think a main event Mafia adding in someone like Brock Lesnar, I think someone like Brock Lesnar would not join, but he'll be opposed to that group, right? He'll be part of Team TNA or whatever, and that'll be his big time babyface run. I think you bring him in, he's a babyface, and then he turns heel. And then he's the big time heel in the company. And then eventually, when the main event Mafia happens, let's say if he was still there, or he was just, he hasn't joined UFC or nothing like that, he want to do one more run in TNA, then the main event Mafia comes around, and then you have Lesnar Day return as a major babyface to oppose the main event Mafia. And maybe they could do an angle to where the main event Mafia beats down Lesnar, and then that's how Lesnar gets out the company, and then he goes to UFC or whatever. I think that would be pretty awesome to see. Also, I think it would have been awesome to do. And then eventually, of course, I think eventually he does his UFC. He does whatever he does away from wrestling and stuff, and then eventually he makes his return back to the WWE later on. And what was that, 2012 or so? I think 11 or 12. So I think it would have been very successful. I think it would have helped put TNA bigger. I think that gave them another popularity boost. And let's say Brock Lesnar didn't return back to the WWE at any point in time, right? He's like, I'm not going back to the WWE, which would have been shocking. But let's say he doesn't go back to the WWE, and he just sticks to TNA. And then you had Hogan and them come through with TNA stuff, and Brock Lesnar is that pedestal, so you put him back on that pedestal once again and continue his run. I mean, what else can you really say, quite honestly? Well, you bring him back in, his popularity is still hot. I think more eyes on the product as more wrestling fans starting to come out more often. This is about, 2010, 2011. So when they decided to go head up with Monday Night Raw that one year, now you have Brock Lesnar as your selling point. One of your biggest selling points. It might have done more. They might have been able to gain more money and be able to tour more and do more live shows and stuff. It might have actually helped out in a very long run for TNA. But those are all now I'm just getting speculation. Of course, this is all what if anyway, but now that's even worse speculation because now I'm just like jumping ahead of the game and stuff like that. That's my personal opinion. But what do y'all think? Y'all think Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle's double popularity would have boosted up TNA higher during that time period, or what have you? What did y'all think? Y'all let me know down in the comment section. Hit that like, comment, subscribe. Of course, add in other what else stories you think I can do. What else stories would you like for me to go down memory lane with? And I got y'all. But this is Mr. Andre, and I'm out.